What up YouTube, Quasi here, back with another storytime video, and this one just happened a few weeks ago. So I work in IT, most of y'all know that. I think I say that in pretty much every storytime video, but it's true. And I'm just a peon. I'm a grunt. I do the dirty work, nothing special. But every once in a while, I'll get put on a special project that works with executive management. So you know, the bigwigs, the people that are a few steps from the top. They got the boats and mansions and private jets and shit. I was on one of these projects and we had a status meeting where we're supposed to talk to these executive managers about what's going on with the project, where we're at, what's causing us problems, all that kind of stuff. So I dial into the meeting as usual because we basically use something like Skype to meet with each other. We don't all sit in the same room. And I'm sitting there, it's pretty quiet. Most of the people are already on, especially the executive managers, but we're still waiting on a few people and it's not time to start. So we're all just sitting there. And then all of a sudden, my coworker, who's also on this project, dials into this meeting. And this bastard did not mute his goddamn microphone. And it just so happens that at the same time as my coworker dials in, this random dude who's in the area is talking to someone else, says, "I'm gonna put your ass to sleep." And I'm like, oh fuck, dude. We got executive management on the line and that shit's going down. So anyways, everyone's sitting there and it kind of goes a little more quiet than it already was. No one's saying anything. And after a few seconds, one of the executive managers speaks up and he says, "Who was that?" And my first thought is like, really? So no one's saying anything, obviously. Who's going to admit to that? And a few more seconds goes by, and then the manager asks again, "Who was that?" And people are, I'm looking at my coworker, he's looking at me, and we're like, where's this going? This is not looking good. The third time, he says, "All right, if somebody doesn't tell me who that was, everyone on this phone call is going to get written up." And I'm like, oh shit, I've never been written up before. But it does not look good, especially since no one fucking did anything. Like, what the fuck, is that a thing that they could do? So I'm looking at my coworker still, he's looking at me. He's not gonna say anything. He's like an older dude that's been there forever. He doesn't give no shits. So I'm like, fuck, do I have to do this? I unmute my phone and I said, "I'm sorry, sir, that was me, it won't happen again." And I thought I was gonna end there, but no, this manager then says, "You're right, it won't happen again. Who's your manager?" And that's when I realized I fucked up. And I was pissed off at this point. So instead of doing the smart thing and telling him my actual manager's name, my fucking dumbass decides to tell him his manager's name. And as soon as I said that, he's like, "All right, I'll be seeing you after this meeting." So we go through this meeting. The meeting, nothing too unusual, goes okay, I guess. It's a meeting, whatever. And when the meeting ends, says, "Patrick, are you still on the line? Who is your actual manager's name?" And at this point, I know I'm done, so I decided to tell him my actual manager's name. He's like, "All right, I'll be speaking to him, thank you." And then he hangs up. So I'm sitting at my desk. My coworker's looking at me and he's mouthing, "What the fuck?" Because he has no idea why I did that. But sure enough, a few minutes later, I hear my manager's phone ring. So my manager just sits a few desks away from me. And I could tell it's getting a little animated over there because he's raising his voice a little bit. And then he stands up and he looks at me. And I kind of shrug like, oh shit, well, I mean, what can I do? I'm just boned, right? They finish talking, and I walk over to my manager to explain what's going on, and I just tell him everything. I'm like, yeah, so someone didn't mute their phone, and that executive manager was doing this, and I decided to just speak up and just get it over with. And he's like, "Patrick, what are you doing?" But thankfully, he believed me, so that was the end of that. I didn't get punished or anything like that. So it ended up being a happy ending. Not that kind of happy ending. That would have been nice though. But yeah, that's another story of me fucking up at work, as usual. But that's all I got for y'all. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Peace.